Hello everybody, I am Darkness Among Us, and welcome back to another video about Dead by Daylight. And today we're going to be talking about the developer update that dropped today, which has to do with killer perks, killer buffs, survivor perks, and survivor spawn rules, as well as a few things regarding offering changes. Now, killer perks will be seeing buffs, including Call of Brine, Machine Learning, Thwack, Thrilling Tremors, Dark Devotion, so on and so forth. Survivor perks will be seeing buffs, two of which are Botany Knowledge and Champion of Light, which are questionable. Champion of Light, I admit, I'm a little bit less of an authority on, but Botany Knowledge, do survivors really need to be healing faster in a meta where they're already healing faster? I don't know. Seems weird to me. It also seems weird to me that anybody's still going to use Botany Knowledge if it's literally any weaker than we're going to live forever. Anyways, spawn rules were also changed with this, so survivors will from now on always spawn on the same floor, and they will always spawn within a certain range of each other. By the way, the link to this will be in the description, so don't worry if you don't know what I'm talking about. You can just check that out. Right here, you can pause it, check it out, and come back, and I'll still be talking about what I'm talking about. Because today, what we're actually talking about is survivors shamelessly wanting to go next. Again, isn't that fun? So, this has been something that's been ingrained in survivor culture for a while now. It's been slowly spreading root. It's like a weed. And it's at the point where you can't keep trimming the weed without having to uproot it, or else it'll keep growing back. This has only gotten worse since I came back to the game last year. Now, I took a hiatus from the game, and during which this whole going next thing has only gotten worse. And it's become so bad to the point where there's a lot of survivors who, when this developer update dropped, and they were talking about all of the go next preventions that they're going to be implementing, including you will no longer be able to struggle on hook unless you bring luck offerings, slippery meat, or up the ante. Now, something like Deliverance or Wicked is still technically going to work, but since those are guaranteed unhooks, it's not really listed in the developer update. Don't worry, Deliverance and Wicked will still work. But a lot of these measures are to stop people from going next whenever they're put on first hook, when they get a killer they don't like, whenever they get a map they don't like, whenever their offerings get cancelled, whenever this happens, whenever that happens, whenever the wind blows in the wrong direction, whenever they smell their own farts. Any sort of inconvenience to them when they are fishing for the perfect match, they will, instead of disconnecting, having the decency to give their team a bot and eating the DC penalty like a mature person whenever they are acting immaturely, they will allow the killer to down them, they will go on hook, they will struggle on hook to get themselves to second stage very quickly, and then they will die. This is immature behavior made by people who are moving the goalpost constantly, because they're at the point where they are so hopelessly addicted to the game that they can't fathom the idea of losing or even winning in a way that they don't approve of. When this developer update dropped, there were a lot of people who were shamelessly self-reporting. There were a lot of people who were shamelessly saying things like, oh, if the match is hopeless, I should be able to leave. You can't stop people from leaving. All I have to do is be bad. Killer queues are going to be through the roof. Wow, there really is no reason to play Survivor anymore. As though the only fun part about playing Survivor is getting the killer you want, the map you want, the perks you want, the team you want, everything the way you exactly want it, and disconnecting or going next the moment you don't get any of it, even if one thing is missing. It's addiction behavior. Survivor culture, at least a lot of middle to higher tier Survivor culture, not like top tier Survivor culture, no, a lot of those people are actually mature. A lot of middle to slightly above middle Survivor culture is rooting itself in this, and you have to consider that a lot of Survivor content bases itself around bullying killers, so if these people are streamers or YouTubers, this is partially why they always want the baby killers, the good maps, the good perks, the good teams. because it's the only way they can make any sort of content. And I will tell you right now, if this is the only way that you can get anything to happen, you're never going to improve at the game. Maybe you don't want to improve at the game. Maybe you just want everything to be handed to you easily, but personally, I don't see the point in playing the game at that point. But yeah, back to the point, a lot of people were saying a lot of funny things, and I'm going to tell you that deliberately being bad at a match isn't going to save you, because alongside the no longer being able to struggle on hook thing, you're also going to have an algorithm that's tracking your matches, and it's going to be measuring to see how badly you're trying to go next, even if you're trying to be subtle about it. The system won't be perfect, especially at first. It'll probably be very rocky at first. Maybe you have less faith in behavior than I do. And that's perfectly understandable. They don't have a good track record. Their very last patch broke the entire game. But I think that this is one thing they understand needs to go from their game. This is the type of mentality that needs to be punished. And there are people that are saying, why don't you just make the killers more engaging that people don't want to play against? There's two problems with this. For starters, people move the goalpost on what killers they think are fun and engaging or not engaging. And then there are people that don't necessarily want engaging killers, they want killers to be bullyable. So these are subjective definitions. You can't base a game around entirely those. Especially if you want to keep the core identity of a lot of these killers. Quiet Kills made a video about this whole mentality and calling them entitled piss babies, and was showing a streamer who was facelessly and wordlessly just staring at his camera the entire time. He got a map he didn't want because it canceled his map offering, so he immediately starts spamming locker notifications, goes down to the trapper immediately, and then queues up the next match immediately after going next. It's addictive behavior, and it actually scares me. I thought that I used to be bad with the game. A few years ago when I was playing it, I wasn't in the healthiest mindset. I didn't have the best mental health. I thought that my rage was an indicator that I needed to stop, and it was, because if I had kept going, maybe I'd have become like these people, who just want the perfect match all the time, who only want the best maps all the time. And I'm glad that when I came back to the game, I was a better person. And if you are a Go Nexter, I'm not going to sit here and insult you any more than I already have. I think you know very well how a lot of people feel about your mentality with the game. You already know that it's largely frowned upon, and you probably don't care. But for your own health, for the health of the game and the community, but mostly for your own health, I implore you to go do something else if you're not enjoying the game. It's okay to go play another game. There are 3 things that are going to happen if you stop playing Dead by Daylight when you're not having fun. Either 1, the game will fix its problem that you had, and you can come back. 2, it won't fix its problem, you can't come back, and then it's not your problem anymore. 3, you and a lot of other people leave, and then the game dies, because apparently the problem may have been more intense than a lot of people are giving it credit for, and it's not your problem. You have nothing to lose from taking a break from the game. So please, for your own sake, stop this addictive behavior. Thank you all for watching, if indeed you still are. Hit that like and subscribe button if you enjoyed the video. Be good people. Bye-bye!